Good day, my dear friends. So, welcome to our channel, and the agenda is knowledge sharing and the knowledge caring. The topic we will cover today is the obsolescence management. This obsolescence management is applicable in all the type of the industries, whether it is manufacturing industries, it is a non-manufacturing industries. It is also is equally important in our lives. So, it's very important as a part of technically and also as part of life of a product. So we will cover the areas of this today's session is called your first definition. What is the definition of the options management and their respective or associated terms? Then type of the options. Then how to manage the obsolescence. Then what is the management approach to deal with the options management and what are the requirements. So we will cover in this session the requirement of the railway industry, but the same type of the requirement are other also applicable for the other industries, because option is not only applicable to the railways, or I can say it is not applicable to only the one type of the industry. It is applicable to all type of the industries. It is equally applicable to our lives also. We go one by one. So first we will cover the part what is obsolescence management. So if we go by what is obsolescence, what is the importance of the obsolescence management? So obsolescence is affect all the products and its influence to all the stage of their life, right? Second, what is obsolescence? Obsolescence is invertible and cannot be prevented. It means you can't change, you can't control, and you can't prevent. It's a part of life, because change is a part of process, change is a part of life. So you can't control all the changes. So you can say obsolescence can't be prevented. It's a part, it's a natural process of the life. But the important is that how you manage this obsolescence, how you can reduce the impact of this obsolescence management in your product or the life. So in that sense, that the point is the obsolescence management is the answer for that. The management to obsolescence or the requirement is to ensure that you have a management system, you have a defined system which will impact, which will reduce the impact of obsolescence in terms of minimize the cost and the bad influences. I just take example for you. You have a some product, right? Suddenly your customer or your supplier can say that we don't want this type of the product because now we want to go for new technology, right? The impact of this new technology, right, is can be negative, can be positive for you, right? If it is a positive, very good. What is a negative? Then how you can minimize this impact? That is a part of your obsolescence management, right? Some of the examples are there that we in our life we have faced, like you can say in the past we are using the gramophones, right? Now the record player has come. Also most of the they also know the cassette type, right? Then compact disc, CD, then mini disc, mp3 player, and now online system is there, right? So slowly you can see that with the change of this technology, right, we are just obsoleting the old technology, or we are not going to prefer and general the all technology. So what happened if, for example, a company who's making a gramophone, right, if you still now they are going to make a gramophone, this is sustain? No, right? Because the in this time the demand is the same. But assume that if they are there is a requirement that some of your customer they already buy, they bought the gramophone you and they need some spare part for you, right? How you manage? That is a part of your options management. So option is equally important in our life. What are the definitions? If you go by the definitions of the options management, like, so first is definitely the obsolescence. The definition of the obsolescence say that transition from availability. You can see this word. What is that? Transition from availability of a product or a service from the manufacturer supply to the unavailability. It means change of the product, change in the technology. It means this, you can understand the options by that, the transition from availability to unavailability of a product, right? And the obsolete product is no longer to procure or available, right? If you can say this product is obsolete, it means it will not be available for you to procure, right? Then what is the management? The optional management is a coordinated activity, right? It is not a one person job, one department job, or a one section job. It is a basically coordinated activity to direct and control by an organization regard the obsolescence. And in that case, you have a systematic approach which called your obsolescence management plan. What is that? This is obsolescence management plan is basically strategies, right? For the identification and the mitigation of the effects of obsolescence through the stage of the life of the product. So there are four things are there. What is obsolescence? Means transition from availability to unavailability, obsolete the product or service which is not be available to procured or not available. And the management is that the coordinated activities regarding the obsolescence, so that you have a systematic plan in which you have to define the strategies, you have to define the directions, you have to define the guidelines to manage the obsolescence of that part. Now, what is the type of the obsolescence? There are different type of the obsolescence, but we will more focused on the technical, functional, and the knowledge. And when we talk about the industries, mostly the type of the obsolescence are related to technical or your functional, right? What is the technical obsolescence? Technical obsolescence is that whenever new product or technology which superseded the old product, right? In that case, what happened? Your old product become the obsolete, which is not available to use, right? Secondly, you can say that supporting technologies are not longer to be available. For example, you are using some software which is not available now. Then what will become? It become the obsolete. Second type of the obsolescence management type is a functional, right? The thing is that every product in life slowly they are going to be wear out, but the availability of their spare parts is available or not. If they are not available, it means that there is a functional obsolescence, right? So third is the knowledge. Knowledge is a loss of personal expertise, right? Relevant skill, and also they will consider the knowledge obsolescence. So you can say in general there are three types of the obsolescence management: technical, functional, and the knowledge obsolescence. Apart from this, there are also other types of the obsolescence also there, but for us mostly technical and functional are more applicable as a part of industry person. Otherwise, if you are, for example, you are in a training firm, then your knowledge is also applicable. But as a internal company, knowledge option is also important to as a organization growth as well as their functional growth. Now, there are two type of the approach to deal. One is a proactive approach, means a planned approach, systematic approach. Second, reactive approach. It means whenever there is options management, we we will take action accordingly, right? So what is a proactive approach? Development and the implementation. You can see that development and implementation of a options management program. If you go by the last slide, if you think that there is an option management plan, what is that? The systematic approach. Same proactive approach is a systematic approach for the options management. Second approach, reactive approach, right? React to the options problem when they occur. It means you're not thinking, okay, now as a planned way, okay, whenever there is an option we will take the action accordingly, right? होता है ना हिंदी में sometimes you say okay देख लेंगे, so you can say reactive approach like a देख लेंगे, but proactive is a planned approach. If you go with the proactive approach steps, so you can see the proactive approach is first of all applying the product management, right? What is the meaning of product management? You can define by the high level of standardization, high level of the standardization. Second, you can create an interface standard to ensure the compatibility of the product, right? You can say your product is like it is designed such a way it is compatible for other interface also. Then standardization of the project and their specific tools. Then continuous evaluation on the consequence of the standard assessment, right? Then the observation process for the critical part, right? Major or minor design changes and the updated system terms. It means whenever you're taking the options management, technical options management, you can have to more focus on the product management part and also their development. Second type in the purchasing, right? Because all things you are not making now as a company, as a person, you also depend on the supplier, right? For example, suppose you are taking some part from the supplier and supplier comes to you that boss, I will not supply this product to you in the future. I am going to stop this product. Then how you manage? Because you can't say your customer that my supplier is not going to support me. Just take example for that options management, like you are making a product and you are supplying a product to your customer in the rail industry. When we talk about the rail industry, the general life of a railway product is generally 30 to 35 years. If I take example of automotive also, in that case the life of the product is 10 to 15 years. This is standard life, right? So during that tenure, if there is a problem in the product and your customer comes to you to ask your support, but unfortunately supplier has stopped that product, then what you will do? That is part you called your options management. So what you can do in such case, you can develop your strategic important suppliers, right? You can create a long-term supplier frame to contract, right? You can also define this requirement to their contractual agreement, right? You also conduct the risk assessment. Also, you can define this in the tie at the type of your supplier selection and evaluation. Also, you have to consider your suppliers option management ability, right? So in that case, if I simply nutshell, I simply clarify the all these point that in the purchasing you have to be taken the part of your supplier in terms of your obsolescence management. But how? Static supplier, supplier long-term relationship, agreements, terms and conditions, clear direction with the supplier, right? That boss, we have a long-term relationship. If you want to obsolete or discontinue some product, let us know in advance so that we can take necessary action. We can take risk assessment on that. So this is the part of your option in terms of your purchasing. So apart from this, you can also different approach you can use like storage approach, like the tooling management, right? So storage approach is like that, there is an agreement with the customer that you will support for the 10 years example, right? And the average requirement per year for that product, either in terms of failure or in terms of annual maintenance or in terms of annual services, right? The x number, so you can define by multiplying that x number to the number of years with taking some risk numbers also, that you can add this risk to your total number and you can store the part. But this is only applicable when you are applying this approach, so you have to consider the cost of the product or the shelf life also. Also taking part of that, the tooling management, you will kept all the respective toolings with you. So whenever there is a requirement of the product, we will make it. When we go by this tooling management approach, there is another requirement in the system, right? That is called the configuration management. So definitely we'll have a different session on the configuration management. But configuration management is also linked to your options management. What is a reactive approach? Nothing. Whenever there is a problem, we will try to find out the solution. So last time buy, right? Find the competent replacement, right? I just take you the simple example for you. Just for example, whenever there is a problem in our vehicle, so we go to the mechanic. Sometimes mechanic doesn't found the right product of our vehicle. Then he suggests that, okay, boss, this product is not available or this product is discontinued by the company, but I have another solution for you. This will completely fit, form, function and meet your requirement. So in that case, you can say, okay, boss, take it. So again, what is the reactive approach? Ad hoc approach. Whenever there is a problem, we will try to find out the solution. But more good approach is a proactive approach. But again, depend on your cost of the product, right? And there are other aspects also there on the basis of which you have to define which approach you want to implement, proactive or reactive. So what is the obsolescence management? Right, obviously you have to create a plan. Right, what is a plan? Systematic approach. Right, what is systematic approach? You have to ensure the adequate choice, the timely implementation of the required activities related to your obsolescence management. Right, also you have to develop the strategies to identify and the mitigate the potential options impact. The important thing is that all the stages of the product life cycle, when we use this word all the stages of product life cycle, or generally we use the word product life cycle, it means we are talking about the agreement with the customer. Right, sometimes there is only agreement with the customer that boss you have to be supplied up to the warranty. Okay, sometimes the end of life, so depend on the agreement will take care. Then we have to identify the potential affected products with the risk assessment. Right, also you have to ensure the availability of the product. It means availability of the product, their alternative. Ultimately we can say you have to be ready, that you have to define some solution of the problem. So what is the process, what is system requirement? Right, if you go by the iris standard requirement, the system requirement is that you have to define a process. Right, what is included in the process? Right, so process required with the availability of the supplied product, simple though by the supplied product and the spare parts. Right, what it means, you have to define a process to ensure that there is availability of supply product and the spare parts. Till when? Contractually agreement. Right, until the end of warranty or as agreement with the customer. For example, if there is agreement with the customer that boss you have to support me for the 20 years, it means now this optional management process is applicable for you the 20 years. Right, then risk assessment. What is the impact of risk? What is the impact of options management? So you have to conduct the risk assessment. On the basis you can define your action plan, also your options management plan. Obviously when you identify some options, so you have defined some actions. Right, so you have to review, regularly review that plan, because as per the time, then there is a possibility of the change of the plan. Maybe there is a need of improvement, maybe there is a need of change of your approach, plus communication with the customer. So in that case, if you go by the standard requirement, right, the standard requirement is that first of all you have a process, documented process, it means a defined process, and which ensure that you have to be ensure the availability of the product, supply product, their spares till the end of warranty or agreed condition with the customer, or you can say contractually agreed. Plus you have a conduct the options risk assessment. Right, you have the options management plan and regularly review that. Right, and communicates with the customer. So there are different approaches can be there. Right, in general you can say second source strategy. It means you can say you have a two suppliers for the same product. Unfortunately, if supplier is discontinue to supply that product, you have a second source. You can take the product from that supplier and then you can supply it to your customer. Right, second approach, storage approach. Right, you know, you have an agreed condition with the customer to support for the 10 years, and the average requirement for a year for that product you can say for 2. So you can say minimum I need 2 into 10, 20 numbers. Also take some extra numbers risk assessment. Okay, 22, 24, and you kept. But again ensure that when you are keeping that product as a part of storage approach, you have to consider the cost of the product with respect to overall cost, storage cost, and also the important part is that shelf life of the product. Why I'm more focusing on the shelf life of the part? For example, today you are going to store a material for the 10 years, but the shelf life of product is 3 years. So after 3 years that product become not usable. Right, so again you have to consider this part. Maybe you want to store the part 22 numbers, but the cost is too high, right? So again, you have to take the decision as per the conditions. Then also you can say the modular design with the standardized interfaces, right? Also you can for more focus the standardized part, right? Then upgrade to the modern technology. All these are the areas or the aspect that you can use for the obsolescence management, right? If generalized, what is the obsolescence management? Obsolescence management is basically support to the customer in case any part become the obsolete. So there are different managements are there, different approaches are there, you can use any, but ultimately you have to supply the product to the customer, right? And obsolescence is very critical. Assume just that you are supplying a very small part, right, to a customer, and the it is going to be fitted to the end product, and if due to that failure your end product is not be able to work, then you can assume the high risk item, right? So ultimately every part, every component is a critical to the functioning of a product, and if you are going to obsolete that product, again conduct the risk assessment. On the basis of risk assessment and the contractually agreed terms and conditions with the customer, you have to define the actions. So that's from my side. So again, yeah, thank you. And also if you are new to my this channel, you please subscribe, like, share, and I just request to you please share this channel or this video all the needed persons, so they can share, they can get the knowledge from this. And also the agenda of this just knowledge sharing is knowledge caring. Thank you very much.